Now let's continue with our step_1.php file. If we copy our last row and paste it underneath, now we will be working with gender. And obviously for attribute will also change to gender, which is exactly the same as the name of our table cell. All of these attributes that have names, actually all of these tags have names exactly the same as our table cells, to make sure that it's going to be easier later on to obviously insert all of the information populated from all those fields into the database. Okay, so we have our gender. We start with a label for gender _m for male. Then we also need to apply the class actually to this radio, so that it displays correctly. Then we have in between the label tags, we have input type. This time it will be radio. Name will be gender. ID will be gender_m. As you may remember, I've already explained this. The for attribute will trigger the input with the same ID. So that's why we have gender m rather than just gender. Obviously this label isn't necessary here because it doesn't do anything, but let's leave it just to keep it consistent. Then we obviously have ID gender m. Then we have value, which will be m for male. And after this we can close our input tag. And next thing will be creating a span for our actually label for this one, which is male. And we can now copy all this whole label, paste it underneath. This time it's going to be gender F for female, the same ID obviously of this radio button, and female in between the span tags. Okay, so this one is done. If we save it, check in our browser, if we refresh, you can see we've got male, female. We can click on obviously on any of this span. This text is obviously in between the span tags, but because we are actually enclosing the input and the spans inside of the label, then obviously we can click on any part in between these labels to trigger the selection. So obviously we can click on the name, which is inside of the span. We use spans here simply because it was easier for us to create this style sheet to make sure that these radio buttons are really centered with the labels itself. Otherwise, the default formatting is a little bit dodgy, so obviously that's why we're using CSS to make it look a little bit nicer. Depending obviously on the browser, some of the browsers render better than the others. Okay, so now if we copy perhaps age row and paste it under our gender row. Okay, so next one will be the country. So age, we change to country. Again, it's required field as well. We change the attribute for country. Now we will be using the other function, which we'll create in the next video, called get countries. And again, we pass in only one parameter, which will be the label name, I mean the name and ID of the tag itself. So let's move to the next video and create this function.